Welcome, everybody. You're on, Lori.
Okay, I don't have a big, long thing to read ahead of time, but I want to read you something from just a little tiny paragraph saying from Joel S. Goldsmith, who I have tremendous respect and respect for, and sometimes fear of, because he was unrelenting in his belief that and his practice that there is nothing but the divine. There's nothing. There's no evil, there's no illness, there's just the divine. So let me read to you this. Man is always seeking a power to overcome something or destroy something, and therefore he is not living in the awareness of God. Because in the realization of the presence of God, there's no need to overcome, to destroy, or to do anything. Kind of an intense concept. It's absolutely a take no prisoners concept.
Could you say this one more time?
Sure.
I got most of it.
Sure.
Sink it in.
Man is always seeking a power to overcome something or destroy something. And therefore, he's not living in the awareness of God, because in the realization of the presence of God, there is no need to overcome, to destroy, or to do anything. This is very, very counter to how we walk our spiritual paths traditionally. This is not a group of traditional people, but we're still heir to a lot of traditional isms that we've grown up with and that we tend to fall into. We fall into them in lots of different ways. And one of the ways I notice the most for myself and others is actually with the language that we use. So if I fail to do something, if I fail in this moment to become a successful actress, I go for an audition and I don't get it or whatever, then I go and I'm frustrated enough. I go, well, then I guess I wasn't meant to do this. And this is one of the ways in which we leave, in my view, we leave God out in the cold. We leave a distance between us and the divinity that we are. If I say I'm not meant to do something, I'm giving up my power. If we want to believe what we say we believe, that God is omnipresent, which means omni means all, God is everywhere. So that means us too. God is right here, right? But very often we leave ourselves out of that equation. Or we say, well, yes, but I need to be better. Or yes, but I'm not perfect enough. Or yes, but I don't feel the divine, or I don't feel the closeness with the divine as much as I want to, which basically, since I'm a greedy thing, I want it all the time. I would like to feel that all the time. And I was thinking about the different ways in which we linguistically talk about the divine and keep it separate from us to some degree. It could be 1 degree, but still it's a separation. So we say we're co-creators. We go, yeah, I'm a co-creator. But there's 2 kinds of co-creators. There's the passive co-creator, the unconscious co-creator. And there is the active conscious co-creator. What is co-creation is our energy, our emotion, our beliefs, our thoughts. These put us into a flow with where we're going to rendezvous with things that match up with our energy. And so whether we want to or not, we're co-creating our lives. We are rendezvousing with things that we really wish we weren't rendezvousing with, and we're rendezvousing with things that we really love. either way, the challenge, and it is a challenge, is to understand that we really are the ones who, by how we are holding ourselves in relationship to the divine, to our divinity, is creating these opportunities or these challenges. And there is nothing wrong with challenges, and there's nothing wrong with good stuff. There's nothing wrong with any of it. What we can get a handle on is the opportunity that we have to be as powerful as, for instance, Jesus said that we are. You know, Jesus said, those things that I shall do, that I do, you shall do. And what a concept. Now, I don't think personally that Jesus meant that we're all going to bring people back from the dead. I don't think that's what was being referred to. I think the idea of that is that we have that power to be as focused and as aligned as he. That energy, we are all heir to it. We can all have it. So in thinking about the two different ways that we can look at our journey, I thought of it like two different doorways. And that's a little misleading only because we're very complex people. And I think we are meant to sort of do this kind of thing throughout our journey. I think we spend some time in pain, and then we spend some time not in pain. And then we, you know, I think that there is a growth process, and that is a big part of it. We can't go to this place that I know for so long I wanted to get to, where there's no pain. And I'm just going to be cool. I'm just going to be awesome. There was somebody who said something I thought was absolutely brilliant, and I cannot find who said it. It might have been Ram Dass or somebody from that sort of era. It's a marvelous quote. It says that we, when as seekers, we keep knocking on God's door. I'm knocking on God's door. Oh, please, God, let me in. Please, God, help me heal. Please, God, let me be different. Please, God, help me grow. Please, God, please, God. And then we awaken. And what we find out is we've been knocking on the door from the inside the whole time. Love that. I love that. So the two options I see for us, and I went through this shift last year, and so it became real for me, which is shocking to me. After a lifetime of being a seeker, something suddenly changed, and I became what the other door is, which is that of the practitioner. So Joel Goldsmith used to say, I mean, he's been gone since the early 60s, I think. But he wrote a series of books. His writings are really razor sharp in that if you read them with an attention to how it impacts you, it's beautiful. It's sort of like carving away the misunderstandings that you hold. At least that's how it impacts me. And he wrote a book called Practicing the Presence. And it occurred to me in looking at this topic for tonight that we can take a journey into being seekers and stay there. Let me see if I can find this God thing. Let me see if I can find God. Let me see if I can align with Godness, which all of that still puts a little distance between me and God. I'm over here looking for something. Or we can be the practitioners of what is. We say God is omnipresent. God is right here. God is in every moment. We can practice that instead. So challenged much by that? I mean, that's a big honking shift. How do you do that? How do you actually practice feeling something when you feel like maybe you don't know even what it is? And the doorway into that, I seem to have a lot of doorways tonight, but the doorway into that is your emotional body. We want to feel close to the divinity of ourselves, the divinity that goes beyond us and that we are made of and that we live, and we want to feel that. You're not going to feel it without having emotion, are you? You can't feel in the abstract. You can think about stuff. You can think about how something might feel. But if you actually experience it, then you're having an emotional impact. And when I'm seeking, there is, like I said, that separation, however big I perceive it to be, there's some kind of separation there. And I feel unmoved, and I feel things like despair and loneliness and hopelessness and confusion, because I'm wondering, how do I get closer to this thing? How do I get to this beauty, to this love, to this forgiveness, to this wisdom, to this curiosity, to this investigation? How do I get closer to this thing? And not realizing that what I'm doing is I'm the one putting the barrier there. And it is the tiniest, biggest shift to say instead, what do I want to feel? I want to feel loved. I want to feel loved. And even just the smallest degree, I just want to feel some love. Okay, well, that's nice. How do I do that? Well, I'm not going to do it here. I'm not going to be like, well, let me put all this together and engineer this. Instead, I'm either going to talk to myself, write to myself, draw to myself. I'm going to communicate with myself emotionally. And I'm going to hold my truth, which is I don't feel loved right now, or I don't feel enough love. And I'm going to take another slight thing, which is, let's say, a little bit higher on the emotional scale, that I believe, I know to be true. Okay, so just, and it can be anything. This is where it gets interesting, because this is where it becomes your journey. This is where we jump off of that path of, let me follow all the rules that I've ever been taught. Let me jump off of the path of everything that I know, that I think I know already. Let me jump into the unknown. And let me trust that in sort of digging just 6 inches in front of my foot, I will find something new. So if I don't feel loved and I say, well, I need something that feels just a tiny bit better than that. Well, I think something that's of a higher sort of vibration than that is, I have people who love me. There are people who care about me. That feels good. So I have to think about, how do I feel when I say that other thing? Well, I feel a little excited. I might feel a little scared, or I might feel a little resistance. So I say, wow, I do have people who love me. And so let's say I have a little resistance to that. I go, well, I don't know why they love me. I don't know what I did that was so great. I go, well, what's a little higher than that is, I don't see everything there is to see about me. And that's a good thing. I'm glad about that. I'm glad that other people are out there to go, oh, I see this thing about you. It's really exciting. I really like that. I think that's cool. And I go, oh my God, I get to see myself through you in such a positive way. So as I'm talking myself through this little, let me just feel a little better and a little better, I suddenly feel excited. I suddenly feel light. So if you can get very aware, I shouldn't say very, if you can get more sensitive than you might already be to higher energies, and the fact that you are the one bringing them into being, suddenly there's no separation. Not in that way, right? Suddenly you're going, oh my God, I'm inviting in my own higher energies, higher divinity, and it's here. And I'm living it and I'm feeling it. So how does that help us? So what? So what? I feel better. That's nice. So what? I still don't have the job. I still don't have the spouse, or I still don't have the, I still have the depression or whatever it is. So what? The more, this is my experience. I want to open the floor pretty soon and just discuss this, actually, more than have me just, talking about it. But the more energy that you have that is vibrating higher, the more you're going to rendezvous with that. And let me give you an example. So the last 2 days have been extraordinary. This last week was a little difficult for me. I was not having the best emotional time. And then I was like, oh, duh, I need to do visioning. Just 4 minutes. I have 4 freaking minutes. Like, I've got 4 minutes. I can make this happen. So in the morning, on Friday, I woke up feeling not so just like I don't want to keep doing this job hunt, and I don't want to. My knee is hurting. I hate it. I just want to crawl under the covers, and I said no, just do the 4 minutes. So I visioned, and it wasn't envisioning something that I want. It was allowing myself to feel, oh my God, I got it. I got the job. Oh my God. Or, oh my God, I just won the Academy Award. And there's George Clooney, my usual thing. It's like whatever it is that makes you actually feel it here now, not seeing yourself, but being that person in that moment. And I usually start with my eyes closed, but a lot of times I get so excited, I'm like, I just get really happy. So what happened that morning, within a couple of hours, was that somebody from this group that I'm a part of, this job seeking group, and she is the person who started it, sent me a job description that looks incredible. And when she sends you a job description, it means that company has reached out to her for recommendations, and she's going to get you an interview. I can't tell you how extraordinary that is. That's just, I got so turned on and so full of light, and I boom, boom, boom. And I made that, I worked on my resume and the cover letter. And I also had an 1.5-hour conversation with one of the free coaches. And I was just like, my hair was on fire. It's like, and I got everything done and out, and I got it over to all the people who needed to see it before I did it, and then all the people who needed to see it after I did it. And I was so excited and so just full of energy that by the time it was about 7 o'clock at night, I thought I was going to die, because I just, I needed to pull back and just be calm for a while. But that was a vast, vast change from waking up going, let me just pull the covers over my head, to life is awesome. That's a 180-degree shift. Next morning, I had been asked to go to something with somebody up in Middletown. So that's about a 40-minute drive for me. And I was feeling blown out, exhausted, completely exhausted. And so I texted her. I said, I don't know. I texted her the night before, Friday night. I don't know. Pretty tired. I'll let you know. She goes, okay. I wake up in the morning. I do my 4 minutes, because I'm like, I don't know why I decided to do that. Why? I don't know what I should do. And I did the 4 minutes. I said, you know what? I don't want to sit here at home feeling all tired. I'm going to just go. I'd rather have an adventure. So I texted her. I said, I'm going to go get like a vat of coffee and I'll meet you there. So I went. What ended up happening that day was I may have found a side gig just by meeting some other person there, I may have found a side gig that will solve my employment problem. And I also became a linchpin for like 4 different women who were, I'm going to get us all together and we're going to all help each other with our side business. I mean, having possibilities when you start a day feeling like you'd rather just not. That is the power of letting just that much light in, just 4 minutes of light. So what I want to leave you with is, do we want to be seekers or do we want to be practicers of what already is? That's the question.
Creator of all that is, we give thanks for all these souls of light that have given us so much, and that will continue in the future, so that we all grow in the highest and best way. Thank you. Amen.